Welcome back. My next guest is concerned that America is splitting into two nations. Not the haves and have-nots, but coastal and flyover. She fears our leaders do not understand the first thing about how most of the country thinks and lives. Joining me right now is nationally syndicated radio talk show host and host of Dana on the Blaze TV, Dana Loesch. She is also the author of the new book, Flyover Nation, You Cannot Run a Country You've Never Been To. Dana, good to see you.
Thank you, Maria, so much for having me.
Congratulations on the book. I want to talk about Flyover Nation and why you chose this name. Explain to us how you see the country evolving.
The title of this book and kind of the concept for it came from the president's remark a few years ago. You remember the bitter clinger. He was in San Francisco. He was talking to a room full of very wealthy Democrat donors, and he was asked a question about, well, how are you going to bring people in middle America around to your agenda, your platform? And he said, oh, you know, these people, and he's talking about Flyover Nation residents. He says, oh, they just cling to their guns and cling to their religion. And when I first heard that, I realized for the first time that's not just some like fun little playful stereotype, you know, oh, he's being facetious. This is really how a lot of people on the coast, people in the Beltway, this is how they legitimately view Flyover Nation. They just think that these are a bunch of, I guess, backwood hillbillies, and they go out in the Back Maria and they fire off their guns and they read their Bible while they do it. And
Unbelievable.
It's not that at all.
Yeah.
There's a lot of values they have. You and I were talking just during the break about how so many of our men and women in the military come from Flyover Nation. This is, you know, the breadbasket of America, small business. I like to kind of think of it as like the spine of America, and it's what makes America great, and I wish they could kind of export some more of those values out to the coast. Which
is why you have this upset with the establishment, because people just feel like they don't understand what's important to the broad populace.
Right. No, exactly. People in Flyover are mad. They're mad, of course, at Democrats, because then they're used to being betrayed by Democrats. They're used to having Democrats, you know, increase taxes and spend a lot of money on things that are, you know, like studying shrimp on treadmills, for crying out loud.
Right.
When Republicans join in with them, they're not used to that. They think this is supposed to be the vehicle that's getting my conservative beliefs to Washington, D.C. And one of the reasons Donald Trump is the nominee is because Flyover Nation just thought, you know what, we've been doing it your way for how many election cycles now?
Right.
Where's that gotten us? Where has it gotten us? Nowhere. So they wanted a sledgehammer to go to Washington, D.C.
It's why your book is resonating, because most people are sick and tired of being told just what Stuart was just telling.
Right.
Don't think this way. Don't say this. I want to ask you to read a selection from your book, something that struck us on economic equality.
Yes. Oh, my gosh. Well, I have in there, it says most of these pinkies out, cocktail drinking, Appletini fans selfishly entertain grandiose plans of economic equality without realizing the negative impact their plans would have on the very people they pride themselves on helping, and that's the true class warfare. Now, full disclosure, I've never had an Appletini, but I know people who have drank. The only time I've ever seen them served is when I've been in L.A.
Okay, yeah,
an Appletini. I'm like, I'm kind, you know, I'm not an Appletini person.
That's what we just heard from the CEO of CKE Restaurants, Andy Puzder, who basically said, look, you want to raise the minimum wage, but you're actually hurting the lowest earners. And you're hurting so many more people because it will result in job cuts.
Well, I was raised by a single mother, and she came from the Ozarks, just had a high school degree. We purchased the goods and used the services that were affordable for us. We went and shopped at Walmart. We went and we would eat fast food. Now, when you're talking about increasing minimum wage to an artificial $15 an hour, it sounds like a great deal, and you think you're helping people, but it hurts people like how I was when I was younger and my mother. It hurts people who really depend on those goods and services.
Exactly. Dana, the book is Flyover Nation. We appreciate you joining us.
Thank you so much, Maria.
Dana Loesch there. Final